love will be left. But love has nothing to do with I or you. In fact, when all possessiveness, all jealousies, all expectations disappear, love does not disappear. You disappear. The ego disappears. These are the shadows of the ego. It is not love that is jealous. Watch, look, observe again. When you feel jealous, it is not love that feels jealous. Love has never known anything of jealousy, just as the sun has never known anything of darkness. Love has never known anything of jealousy. It is the ego that feels hurt. It is the ego that feels competitive in a constant struggle. It is the ego that is ambitious and wants to be higher than others, wants to be somebody special. It is the ego that starts feeling jealous, possessive, because the ego can exist only with possessions. The more you possess, the more the ego is strengthened. Without possessions, the ego cannot exist. It leans on possessions. It depends on possessions. So if you have more money, more power, more prestige, a beautiful woman, a beautiful man, beautiful children, the ego feels immensely nourished. When possessions disappear, when you don't possess anything at all, you will not find the ego inside. There will be nobody who can say I. And if you think this is your love, then certainly your love will also disappear. Your love is not really love. It is jealousy, possessiveness, hatred, anger, violence. It is 1,001 things except love. It masquerades as love because all these things are so ugly that cannot exist. They're so ugly they cannot exist without a mask. An ancient parable. The world was created and God was sending every day new things to the world. One day he sent beauty and ugliness to the world. It is a long journey from paradise to the earth. The moment they arrived, it was early morning. The sun was just rising. They landed near a lake and both decided to have a bath because their whole bodies, their clothes were so full of dust. Not knowing the ways of the world, they are so new. They take their clothes off, utterly naked. They jump into the cool water of the lake. The sun is rising. People start coming out. Ugliness plays a trick. When beauty goes swimming far away into the lake, ugliness comes up on the bank, puts on the garments of beauty, and escapes. By the time beauty becomes aware that people are arriving and I am naked, and she looks around, her clothes are gone. Ugliness is gone and beauty is standing naked in the sun. And the crowd is coming closer. Finding no other way, she puts on the clothes of ugliness and goes in search of ugliness so that the clothes can be changed. Waiting for that plane to fly over. The story says she's still looking, but ugliness is cunning and goes on escaping. Ugliness is still in the clothes of beauty. Mass is beauty, and beauty is moving into the clothes of ugliness. It is a tremendously beautiful parable. All these things are so ugly that you cannot tolerate to be with them even for a single moment if you see their reality. So they don't allow you to see the reality. Jealousy pretends to be love. Possessiveness creates a mask of love, and then you are at ease. You are not fooling anybody else but yourself. These things are not love. So what you know as love, what you have known up to now as love, will disappear. It has nothing of poetry in it. Yes, passion is there, But passion is a feverish state. Passion is an unconscious state. Passion is not poetry. The poetry is known only by the Buddhas, the poetry of life, the poetry of existence. Excitement, fever are not ecstasies. They look alike. That is the problem. In life, many things look alike, and the distinctions are very delicate and fine and subtle. Excitement can look like ecstasy. It is not, because ecstasy is basically cool. Passion is hot. Love is cool, not cold, but cool. Hatred is cold. Passion, lust, is hot. Love is exactly in the middle. It is cool, neither cold or hot. It is a state of tremendous tranquility, calmness, serenity, silence. And out of that silence is poetry. Out of that silence is song. Out of that silence arises a dance of your being. What you call poetry and passion are nothing but lies, with beautiful facades. Out of your 100 poets, 99 are not really poets. But only people in a state of turmoil, emotion, passion, heat, lust, sexuality, sensuality. Only one out of your 100 poets is a real poet. And the real poet may never compose any poetry because his whole being is poetry. The way he walks, the way he sits, the way he eats, the way he sleeps, it is all poetry. He exists as poetry. He may create poetry, he may not create poetry. That is irrelevant. But what you call poetry is nothing but the expression of your fever, of your heated state of consciousness. It is a state of insanity. Passion is insane, blind, unconscious, because it gives you the feeling as if it is love. Love is possible only when meditation has happened. If you don't know how to be centered in your being, if you don't know how to rest and relax in your being, if you don't know how to be utterly alone and blissful, you will never know what love is. Love appears as relationship, but begins in deep solitude. Love expresses as relating, but the source of love is not in relating. The source of love is in meditating. When you are absolutely happy in your aloneness, when you don't need the other at all, when the other is not a need, then you are capable of love. If the other is your need, you can only exploit, manipulate, dominate, but you cannot love. Because you depend on the other, possessiveness arises out of fear. Who knows? The other is with me today, tomorrow he may not be with me. Who knows about the next moment? Your woman may have left you, your children may have grown up and left, your husband can desert you. Who knows about the next moment? Out of that fear of the future, you become very possessive. You create a bondage around the person you think you love. But love cannot create a prison. And if love creates a prison, then nothing is left for hatred to do so. Love brings freedom. Love gives freedom. It is non-possessiveness. But that is possible only if you have known a totally different quality of of love. Not of need, but of sharing. Love is a sharing of overflowing joy. You are too full of joy. You cannot contain it. You have to share it. Then there is poetry, and then there is something tremendously beautiful that is not of this world. That is something that comes from the beyond. This love cannot be learned, but obstacles can be removed. Many times I say learn the art of love, but what I really mean is learn the art of removing all that hinders love. It is a negative process. It is like digging a well. You go on removing many layers of earth, stones, rocks, and then suddenly there is water. The water was always there. It was an undercurrent. Now you have removed all the barriers. The water is available. So is love. Love is the undercurrent of your being. It is already flowing, but there are many rocks, many layers of earth to be removed. That's what I mean when I say learn the art of love. It is really not learning love, but unlearning the ways of unlove. What is the difference between liking and loving, to like and to love? And also, what is the difference between ordinary love and spiritual love? There is a great difference between liking and loving. Liking has no commitment in it. Loving is commitment. That's why people don't talk much about love. In fact, people have started talking about love in such contexts where no commitment is needed. For example, somebody says, I love ice cream. Now, how can you love ice cream? You can like, you cannot love. And somebody says, I love my dog. I love my car. I love this and that. In fact, people are very, very afraid of saying to a person, I love you. I have heard a man was dating a girl for months together, and the girl was, of course, waiting. They were even making love, but the man had not said to her, I love you. Just see the difference. In the ancient days, people used to fall in love. Now people make love. You see the difference? Falling in love is being overwhelmed by love. It is passive. Making love is almost profane, almost destroying its beauty. It is active, as if you are doing something. You are manipulating and controlling. Now people have changed the language. Rather than using falling in love, they use making love. And the man was making love to the woman, but he had not said a single time, I love you. And the woman was waiting and waiting and waiting. One day he phoned and he said, I have been thinking to say it to you. It seems now the time for it has come. I have to say it. Now I cannot contain it anymore. And the woman was thrilled, and she became all ears for this. She was waiting, and she said, say it, say it. And the man said, I have to say it. Now I cannot contain it anymore. I really like you so much. People are saying to each other, I like you. Why don't they say I love you? Because love is commitment, involvement, risk, responsibility. Liking is just momentary. I can like you, and I may not like you tomorrow. There is no risk in it. When you say to a person, I love you, you take a risk. You are saying, I love you. I will remain loving you. I will love you tomorrow too. You can depend on me. This is a promise. Love is a promise. Liking has nothing to do with any promise. When you say to a man, I like you, you say something about you, not about the man. You say, this is how I am, I like you. I like ice cream too, and I like my car too. In the same way I like you. You are saying something about you. When you say to a person, I love you, you are saying something about the person, not about you. You are saying you are lovely. The arrow is pointing to the other person. And then there is danger. You are giving a promise. Love has the quality of promise in it, and commitment and involvement. And love has something of eternity in it. Liking is momentary. Liking is non-risky, non-responsible. You ask me, what is the difference between liking and loving? And also, what is the difference between ordinary love and spiritual love? Liking and loving are different, but there is no difference between ordinary love and spiritual love. Love is spiritual. I have never come across ordinary love. The ordinary thing is liking. Love is never ordinary. It can't be. It is intrinsically extraordinary. It is not of this world. When you say to a woman or a man, I love you, you are simply saying, I cannot be deceived by your body. I have seen you. Your body may become old, but I have seen you, the bodiless you. I have seen your innermost core, the core that is divine. Liking is superficial. Love penetrates and goes to the very core of the person, touches the very soul of the person. No love is ordinary. Love cannot be ordinary, otherwise it is not love. To call love ordinary is to misunderstand the whole phenomenon of love. Love is never ordinary. Love is always extraordinary, always spiritual. That is the difference between liking and love. Liking is material, love is spiritual. You confused me when you talked about the differences between love and liking. You said love is committed, but I thought commitment was another kind of attachment. There are many people I love, but I don't feel committed to. How can I predict if I will love them tomorrow? The question is significant. You will have to be very, very understanding because it is subtle and complex too. When I said that love is commitment, what do I mean by it? I don't mean that you have to promise for tomorrow, but the promise is there. You don't have to promise, but the promise is there. This is the complexity of the subtleness of it. You don't say, I will love you tomorrow too. But in the moment of love, that promise is there, utterly present. It needs no expression. When you love a person, you can't imagine otherwise. You can't think that you will not love this person someday. That is impossible. That is not part of love. And I'm not saying that you will not be able to get out of this love affair. You may be. You may not be. That is not the point. But when you are in the love moment, when the energy is flowing between two persons, there is a bridge, a golden bridge, and they are bridged through it.